What if I told you that as long as you try to save whatever is left at the end of the month, you will never truly save anything at all? Most people save whatever money is left over. They pay the rent, cover the bills, do the grocery shopping, manage subscriptions, take care of whatever the month requires, and then if anything is left, they set it aside. This seems like responsible behavior. It seems like the natural order of financial life. After all, saving whatever is left is an art. Pay your obligations first, save what remains. The problem is that in most months, there is nothing left. Expenses increase to match income. Subscriptions pile up. Unexpected costs arise, and savings, the very thing that should be happening quietly disappear in the gap between income and expenses. If there is no money left to save, risky times for the future may begin. Most people cannot save due to a lack of discipline. They cannot save because they put saving at the very end of a list that almost never reaches the end, or they realize they should have been saving too late. Welcome to 5-Minute Money. In the next 5 minutes, you'll learn one powerful idea that can change the way you think about money. If you find value here, subscribe for more. Now let's continue. The pay yourself first rule reverses the sequence. Before rent, before utilities, before groceries, before the month has any chance to absorb the income, a fixed amount moves automatically to savings. The saving happens first. Everything else is paid from what remains. This is not a budgeting technique. It is not about tracking categories or reducing expenses. It works regardless of income level, regardless of budgeting skill, regardless of financial sophistication. It works because it removes the decision from the equation entirely. The money moves before willpower is required, before the temptation to spend exists, before the competing demands of the month have had any opportunity to absorb it. The mechanism is automation. A fixed transfer, scheduled for payday, directed to a separate savings account before any discretionary spending begins. The amount does not need to be large to begin. What matters is the structure, the sequence that places saving before spending rather than after it. When savings are made first, spending adjusts to what remains. This is the fundamental behavioral insight of the rule. Most people believe that in order to save, they must first reduce their spending. The evidence, however, suggests the opposite is true. When savings are automatically transferred before spending begins, people spend slightly less without conscious effort because the available amount is smaller and spending tends to fill available space rather than a fixed category. Unnecessary spending is naturally reduced because there is simply less left. And unnecessary spending is, after all, unnecessary. The psychology works in two additional ways. First, the savings account visibly grows. The increasing balance creates a behavioral anchor. The saver becomes increasingly reluctant to reduce this amount and increasingly motivated to preserve and grow it. Seeing the accumulation adds a different layer of motivation. Second, each automatic transfer is a small confirmation of identity, not a sacrifice, proof of a choice made in advance, the choice to be a saver, reinforced every payday without requiring a new decision each time. The common objection is practical. I cannot afford to save right now. My expenses are too high. My income is too low. The margins are too thin. This objection is almost always sincere. It is also almost always partially incorrect because the same person who cannot find $50 to save will find $50 to spend consistently, invisibly, across dozens of small decisions throughout the month. The $50 exists. It simply has not been claimed in advance. The first transfer does not need to be large. It needs to be automatic and consistent. $10 per week moved before anything else is more powerful than a larger amount moved irregularly when discipline happens to be sufficient. Because the consistent small transfer builds the structure, the habit, the identity, the growing number that makes larger transfers possible and natural later. The pay yourself first rule does not require budgeting. It does not require tracking. It does not require willpower, sacrifice, or financial expertise. It requires one decision made once Implement it as an automatic transfer on payday. Once that decision is made, saving becomes the default. Spending becomes what happens with what is left over. The people who build savings over time are not the ones with the highest incomes or the most discipline. They are the ones who changed the sequence. They paid themselves first, and then they lived on what was left.